Hi friends, thanks for clicking on this video. This is Bakappa. In this Playwright with TypeScript full course, we will deep dive into powerful end-to-end testing framework. And also I will show you how to leverage Playwright to write robust, clean and scalable tests for your application. In this course, you will learn how to set up Playwright with TypeScript test automation environment from scratch to the advanced level. Each and every topics are covered with an example, so you can find the code in the GitHub repository. By the end of this course, you will be able to build and maintain the Playwright automation framework, and also you will be able to write the efficient end-to-end tests for your web application. And let's get started with the course. Hi friends, thanks for clicking on this video. This is Bakappa. In this chapter 1, you will be learning what is Playwright, architecture of Playwright, and what is the difference between Playwright, Cypress, and Selenium WebDriver. Next, you will be learning about how to set up the Playwright test automation environment, how to write the first test, and also you'll be learning about how to debug and run the test, and how to check the test report also. And at the end, we are going to discuss how to use CodeGen tool to record and play the Playwright test. And many more topics I have covered. Let's get started with chapter 1. Now let's understand what is Playwright and what are the advantages of using Playwright, and also we will see what are the limitations or disadvantages of using Playwright. So firstly, let's understand what is Playwright. Playwright is an open source automation testing tool, or it is a open source automation testing library which is used to test end-to-end modern web application, mobile application in the headed mode or a headless mode. And also you can test the APIs using the Playwright. Let's move on to the advantages of using Playwright. So we will see what Playwright makes so powerful. The very first point is cross-browser testing. So you can run your automated tests on the different browsers. It can be Chrome browser, Edge browser, Chromium browser, Firefox browser, WebKit browser. And next one is cross-platform testing, where you can run the automated test on the different operating systems. So it can be Windows, Linux, Mac OS. And next advantage is cross programming language support. So you can write automated test by using the TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, C#.NET, and also you can write automated test by using the Java also. And next advantage is you can test mobile web application. Say for example, you want to test the mobile web browser application. So Playwright provides you one simple solution. By setting the viewport, you can run your automated mobile web application on the Chrome browser, and also you can run it on the Safari browser. And the fifth advantage is automatic wait. Say for example, if I want to click on any button or element, so automatically Playwright waits until that element is visible or enabled. Then automatically it performs the click operation. So that's how it supports for the automatic wait. And next advantage is trace viewer. So trace viewer will capture all the information required to investigate the test failures. So it captures the information like live DOM details, screenshots for each step, and also it will captures the video of the test case execution so that you can analyze the test failure properly, and also that will help for you to fix the issues. And next advantage is reporting. Playwright automatically generates the HTML test report by default, and also it will generate you the many other reports. And next advantage is parallel execution. So Playwright supports for the parallel execution where you can run a number of tests at the same time so that you can save the test execution time. And the next one is no trade-off, no limit. That is validation. This is validation. In that case, you can save the login state by using the Playwright. And next advantage is powerful tooling. So one of the important tool in the Playwright is CodeGen. So this is used to record the test or actions which you are performing on the web page. And eventually you can convert all the recorded tests into the 5 programming languages. You can convert your recorded test into the TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, .NET and Java also. And another important feature of the Playwright is Playwright Inspector. By using this, you can identify the locator value to perform the action on that particular element. And the third one is trace viewer. Just now I have discussed here about the trace viewer, which contains the information about the test failure to investigate the failure so that once you are having a complete information of a failure so that you can fix it very quickly. And the last advantage of using Playwright is no flaky test. Because of all this automatic wait and dynamic wait assertions, so there will be no flaky test in the Playwright automation testing. So far you have seen what is Playwright and what are the key advantages of using the Playwright. Now let's jump into the limitations of Playwright. The very first one is resource consumption. So when your system is having a limited resources or limited configurations where you are trying to perform the parallel executions. So in those cases, so it may not work as expected. And second limitation is Playwright does not support for the desktop application automation. And third disadvantage is Playwright does not support for the legacy browsers such as Internet Explorer. And the fourth one is Playwright does not have a big community compared to the Selenium WebDriver. So Playwright came into the market just before 5 years back. But when you see the Selenium WebDriver is present from last 20 years in the market. In this video, I will discuss Playwright architecture. So here there are two components. One is client and another one is Playwright Node.js server. So in the client, that is where we are writing a automation test using TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, C#.NET or a Java. And in the Playwright Node.js server, so this particular server which will communicate with the browser engines by using the CDP protocol, that is a Chrome DevTools protocol. And also we are using another protocol here called WebSockets protocol. So this is responsible to establish the connection between the client and a Playwright Node.js server. So let me summarize how exactly it works. So if you look at this one, so firstly we are writing a code that is automation code, using any of the programming language. And then when you trigger the test case execution. So firstly, connection will be established with the Playwright server, that is a Playwright Node.js server. And what client does is it converts all the automation test into the JSON format, and it will send to server over the WebSocket protocol here. And once Playwright Node.js server receives the automation test information, it communicates with the respective browser engines by using the CDP protocol. And once the execution is completed on all the browsers or any specific browsers, it will returns the, that means it will captures the all the test execution information. Then it will send back to the client. So that is where we are writing the code. That is where we are executing the Playwright tests. In this video, I will discuss what is the difference between Playwright, Cypress and Selenium WebDriver. And also it is one of the famous interview question. They will ask like, can you tell me the differences between the Playwright, Cypress and Selenium WebDriver also, right? So let's get started into this session. So I will talk about our very first feature, complexity of setting up the things in each of the automation library or a automation tool. So in the very first, we have the Playwright. So setup wise, it is very easy with JavaScript and TypeScript. In the Cypress, it is simple and fast also, only for the JavaScript. And when you take a Selenium, it is very high, because you need to add all the configurations and dependency in the pom.xml file. And the second feature is programming language support. So Playwright supports for the 5 programming languages: TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, C#, Java. When it comes to the Cypress, it supports for only TypeScript and JavaScript only. And Selenium supports for the Java, Python, JavaScript, C#, Ruby and PHP also. So Selenium does not supports for the TypeScript combination, but Playwright and Cypress supports for the TypeScript programming language. And the third feature is speed. So Playwright is very fast. You can run your automated test in the headless mode, and also it supports for the parallel execution by default without putting the additional effort here. So in the Cypress also it supports for the parallel execution, and also it is very faster, which will run inside the browser only. So that is the only limitation what we have in the Cypress. So Selenium is very slow in terms of execution, or you will find more flaky test also. And the fourth feature is browser support. So Playwright supports for the Chromium, Chrome browser, Edge browser, Firefox, WebKit browser, that's a Safari browser. And Cypress supports for only 3 browsers: Chrome, Edge and Electron browser. And Selenium supports for the majority of the browsers, which is used by the most of the users nowadays. Let's move on to the next feature, parallel execution. By default, Playwright supports for the parallel execution with the reporting without any additional effort. So Cypress by default it will not support. You may have to use some external plugins or something. Selenium also by default it will not support for the parallel executions. You may have to use TestNG and Selenium Grid. So next feature is debugging. So whenever test case got failed. So you need a detailed information. So Playwright also provides you a detailed information, and Cypress also provides you a detailed information. But Selenium does not provide you a detailed information about the test case failure. So Playwright has a specific tools where you will get live DOM details, screenshots, and also recorded test execution. And the next feature is cross-browser testing. So Playwright supports for the cross-browser testing, and Cypress has some limitation. It will not support for the Firefox and Safari. So Selenium also supports for the cross-browser testing, where you can run your test in the multiple browsers. And the last feature is community support. So Playwright is rapidly growing nowadays compared to the Cypress and Selenium. And Cypress has a very good community support, especially using Cypress with the JavaScript. And obviously Selenium is there in the market from 20 years ago. So obviously it has a very large community and matured community where you will get a very quick support, as it is a open source also. In this video, I will discuss what are the softwares required for the Playwright with TypeScript full course. So you need to have the first 4 softwares mandatory. So by default, you will have the operating system with you, and no setup is required for TypeScript, and you need to install the Node.js and VS Code. And the next 2 are required for the repository creation and to set up the pipeline and to run the automated test on the pipeline. So this is how it happens on the mainly in the real-time projects. And next, I'm going to discuss about the API testing also in this course. So we will use the Postman tool just for the manual API testing flow, and I will be discussing more into the how you can automate the API testing using the Playwright. And then finally in this course, I will be discussing about the mobile app testing. So you need to install the Android Studio also. In this video, I will show you how to install Node.js and Visual Studio Code. So let's see how to download and install Node.js. Firstly, navigate to the google.com and here search for download Node.js. And here you can go to the very first link, click on this, which is coming from the nodejs.org. And here you need to select pre-built installers tab, and then you need to select the latest stable version. And after that, here you can select the operating system, depends on your system. If it is Windows, you select Windows, otherwise you can select the Mac OS. And then you can select the, depends on your system processor, you can select the x64, x86 or ARM64. And after that you can click on the download Node.js, which will download you for a .exe file. So installation is very simple and straightforward. You can do it yourself. So that will not take more than 1 or 2 minutes. Once the installation is completed, you need to cross check it whether Node.js is installed on your system or not. So simply open your command prompt or a terminal in the Mac, or you can open the command prompt in the Windows system. So simply type node space -v. So this particular command should return you the version of the Node.js if Node.js is installed successfully on your system. So if you see here, so currently I'm using the Node.js version 22.10.0. So if there are any issues, you can try to set the system variables for the your Node.js path where exactly installed in your Windows system. If it is a Mac, you can try to set the variable in the profile. Now let's install Visual Studio Code. You can navigate to the google.com and here search for download Visual Studio Code and navigate to the this particular official website code.visualstudio.com. Click on this first link. So depends on your operating system. You can click on the respective link. If it is a Windows system, click on this. It will download you the .exe file. And if it is a Ubuntu, you can click on this. If it is a Fedora, you can click on this. And if you are using a Mac system, you can click on this. So once the download is completed, so even for this also, Visual Studio Code installation is also very simple and straightforward. Simply you can accept the agreement and click on next and install. So it is very straightforward. I don't think it's required for me to go through the each and every steps. Once the installation is completed successfully, you can simply from the start search for the Visual Studio Code. If it is installed successfully, so it will opens the application similar to like this. So far, what is Playwright? What are the key features of Playwright and Playwright architecture? And also I have shown you how to install the Visual Studio Code and Node.js. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to install Playwright in Visual Studio Code. The very first step is we need to install a extension called Playwright Test for VS Code. And once we have installed this particular extension, simply we have to press the Control Shift P in the Windows OS, or if you are using Mac OS, simply you need to press Command Shift P. And then simply you need to enter the install Playwright. So automatically once you get a suggestion, you can select the option as the install Playwright. Then we have to select the configurations like browsers and what is the programming language. Then you need to click on the OK button. So just you need to follow these 3 steps to install the Playwright in VS Code. So firstly, let's install the Playwright test for VS Code. So here I will navigate to the VS Code and you need to navigate to the extensions icon. So once you click on this particular extensions icon, so a list of extensions will be displayed here. So search for the Playwright test for VS Code. And if you see here, so in my case, I have already installed the Playwright test for VS Code extension. So make sure that it is from the Microsoft.com. So once you have installed the Playwright test for VS Code extension, simply go to the Explorer. And you can click on this open folder, or in the VS Code go to the file and select the option as open folder. So both the options are same. So in my case, I have already created a one empty folder. Simply I'm opening that particular folder here. So that's it. Now you need to press the, so in my case I'm using Mac OS. I will be pressing Command Shift P here. If you are using Windows OS, press Control Shift P. So simply I will press the Command Shift P. That's it. So here you need to enter the install Playwright. So here I got the suggestion install Playwright. Simply I will select this option. Then here you need to select the browsers first. So here I have selected Chromium, Firefox, WebKit. So I want to install all the .exe files. And next you need to choose the programming language. You need to select it. So by default TypeScript will be selected. If you are using JavaScript, you need to select this particular checkbox. And I'll uncheck this particular option, GitHub Actions Workflow. So by default, our project will be created with the TypeScript. So that's it. Simply click on the OK button. And if you see this terminal, it started installing something, and on the left side you will be seeing all the folder structure. And if you see here, so it is trying to install the Chromium browsers. So all the browsers, it is trying to install it one by one. So it will take some time to install the Chromium browser, and then it will install the Firefox browser as well. Then at last it will install the WebKit browser. So now it is trying to install the Firefox browser. So it will take a few seconds to download the .exe file, and it will keep in your local path. So at last it is trying to download the WebKit browser. So once the installation is completed, it will give you a very important commands to note it also. So those commands you may need it for daily use as well. So that's it, guys. So once you got this message, happy hacking. So that is nothing but installation is completed. And if you see here, so these are the very important commands. You need to remember it for a daily use. So far you have seen how to install the Playwright in Visual Studio Code. In this video, I will discuss Playwright default folder structure. So here I will navigate to the VS Code. So last time we have installed the Playwright in this VS Code. So if you look at on the left side, there are 3 folders and 4 files created automatically.